Hey guys, let's work out a tricky problem from compound interest. The question is this: a sum of rupees 54,600 is to be cleared at the end of 3 years. If it has to be repaid in 3 equal annual installments, each installment paid at the end of each year at 20% per annum, compounded annually, find each installment. This problem looks a bit confusing unless you're familiar with the concept, so I would like to discuss the concept before looking at the solution. Let's assume that you as a borrower have to repay a certain amount after 3 years, say at 20% per annum compounded annually. I'm choosing 3 years and 20% because these are the figures given in the problem given to you. So you as borrower are under obligation to make the repayment only after 3 years. Later on, as mutually agreed to between you and your lender, you're making a change in the mode of repayment as 3 equal annual installments. Let the annual installments you're going to pay be 100 rupees, and each installment is paid at the end of each year. That means if the loan period is for 3 years, you will have to make 3 equal annual installments of 100 rupees. Can you guess how much money you will be clearing at the end of 3 years? You might think it is, these are the 3 equal annual installments of 100 rupees being paid at the end of each year. So totally it comes to 300. So you might think you will clear a debt of 300 rupees. Actually, it's not. If you're paying 100 rupees like this, you will be repaying more than 100 rupees. Let's find out how much it actually is. See, let's look at the first installment you're paying at the end of the first year. Loan period is 3 years. So if you're making some payment at the end of the first year, the lender is getting that money 2 years in advance. I hope you follow this. Loan period is 3 years. You're making the first installment 100 rupees at the end of the first year. So there remains 2 more years for the loan period to get over. That means you are under no obligation to make any advance payment. Since you're paying 100 rupees in advance, which is actually 2 years in advance, the lender is getting so much money, 100 rupees, 2 years before the due date of the loan. And this 100 will amount to so much money on the due date. Can you see this? See, as a prudent lender, he will never let the money lie idle. He will, rather he can relent to somebody, and on the due date, that money will get increased to so much. This on simplification, how you will be getting 144 rupees. So you are paying 100 on the due date. The lender is getting so much money out of it. So there is a 44 rupees interest gain made by the lender. Why should you pay 100 rupees so that he makes a gain of 44 rupees interest gain? For some change in the repayment of whatever kind, it should benefit neither the borrower nor the lender. In this case, because of you paying in advance, the lender is getting 44 rupees more. If the lender is agreeable to give it back to you, you will agree to that, so that neither the lender nor the borrower will have any additional advantage because of change in the mode of repayment. So the adjustment is done like this. You're paying 100, the lender will account it as 144 as the money having received from you as borrower. In that case, neither the borrower nor the lender will have any advantage at the expense of the other. And you will both agree to change in the mode of repayment through 3 annual equal installments. And look at the second installment you're paying, which is done at the end of the second year. So how many years in advance the borrower will get that money? That will reach the lender 1 year in advance. So obviously he will relent to somebody and the money will come to so much. And you are paying 100, he will account it as 120 as the money that you have paid. So you are okay with that. Now look at the last 100 rupees installment, which is going to the lender exactly on the due date. So he can't make any money out of it. So he will account it as 100 rupees. Now look at the total amount you're getting here. Sorry, 4, 6, 364. So you're making totally 300 rupees, and this 300 is as good as the lender getting so much money. So this 300 will clear a debt of 364 rupees. So if the debt amount you had to repay after 3 years worth 364, 100, 3 equal installments will be enough to clear off this much amount. So what do you finally observe? If you're making a payment of 3 equal annual installments of 100 rupees, that will take care of a loan amount of 364 rupees to be paid after 3 years. Here you are making 3 equal annual installments. Now come to the problem. You can see that there also it is a 3 years and 20% interest rate. I've chosen these figures in the concept so that you can easily fit that into the problem. Now in the problem they say instead of 364 there is an obligation of 54,600 rupees to be paid by the borrower after 3 years. Here 364 rupees after 3 years, equivalent one installment is 100 rupees. So for this amount, what would be the equivalent annual installment here? You can use the idea of proportion. Let this be X, the equal annual installment you have to make. So here it's more, this also it will be more, they are directly proportional, or rather 100 by X is equal to 364 by 54600. Now you cross multiply, you will have X into 364 equal to 100 into 54600. X is equal to 100 into 54600 by 364. This on simplification will be 15,000 rupees. So 15,000 rupees is the equal annual installment you have to pay to clear a debt of 54,600 rupees. So this is the final answer to the question. The next problem is this. I deposit rupees 10,000 at the beginning of each year in a bank that pays 10% per annum interest being compounded annually. How much will be the interest in the account after 5 years? You're depositing 10,000 rupees at the beginning of each year. At the beginning of the first year, then 10,000 second year. It goes on. At the beginning of the fifth year, you will be making the fifth deposit. So 5 times you are depositing 10,000 rupees. Now look at the first 10,000 deposited in the bank. That will stay with them for how many years? 5 years. So that 10,000 will become 10,000 into 1 plus 10 by 100 raised to 5. It's an interest being compounded annually. So by using the basic formula, 10,000 will amount to so much after 5 years. Similarly, the second will remain with the bank for 4 years. So this will be the total amount you get at the end of the fifth year. Now, if you go on like that, the last 10,000 deposited will stay with the bank only for 1 year, because you are depositing at the beginning of the fifth year and you're calculating interest after 5 years, means at the end of the fifth year you're calculating the total amount you receive. So it will be, and in between there are 2 other deposits. You can further simplify this. This will be 10,000 into 1.1, 5, 4, and the last one will be 1.1. Now take the sum total of all this. That will be the total amount he will have in the bank after 5 years. But we are asked to find out interest only. So first calculate the total amount he will have in the bank after 5 years by taking the total of all these. Total amount I will have after 5 years equal to sum of all these. As you can see, 10,000 is common, and inside 1.1, the last term will be 1.1. Now let's further simplify this. You can individually work out each one and add up, or alternative method, this forms a geometric progression. Will make use of the sum to n numbers of a geometric progression. The first term is 1.1 and inside 1.1 by 1. I'm using the formula, this one, a into, where a is the first term, I'm taking this as the first term, r is the common ratio, that's again 1.1, and the n is the total number of terms, which is 5. That's what I have used here. Now this will come to 1.1. Yeah, 1.1 power 5. You need to calculate. There's no other way. 6105, and this will be 0.1. This on simplification, 1.1 and 0.1, that will be 11. This will be 0.6105. This will be equal to 6755. So this is the total amount I will receive from the bank, but that includes interest as well as the amount I had deposited. So you need to deduct the amount I had deposited to get the interest portion. So totally how much money had I deposited? 10,000 5 times, so 50,000. You deduct that from the total amount you received, which will give you 17,155. So 17,155 is the final amount I received from the bank. I have worked out 2 problems in this session. Both of them are a bit tricky. So if there is any step you want me to clarify further, feel free to raise it in the comment section. I will address it there. See you guys in my next video, where I will help you with smart solutions to tricky problems of this kind. Bye for now.